Bitcoin follows a 4-year cycle, and the bear market is a very difficult time for all market participants. Asset prices fall, market sentiment is very low, and seemingly good fundamental projects can go to zero almost overnight. In the last cryptocurrency bear market of 2022, there were many black swan events. Terra was an algorithmic-based stablecoin, and Luna was its native currency. It collapsed in May 2022. Celsius was a crypto lending platform that failed in June 2022. 3 Hours Capital was a crypto hedge fund that filed for bankruptcy in July 2022. Voyager was a regulated crypto broker which also filed for bankruptcy in July 2022. Sam Bankman-Fried's FTX was a cryptocurrency exchange which collapsed in November 2022. Subscribe for more crypto fun facts. The word crypto stands for cryptography, and cryptography has been around for thousands of years. It's a way of keeping secrets. Today, cryptography is a very advanced and complicated science, and it helps keep cryptocurrencies secure. It's one of the reasons why people find crypto and the underlying technologies behind crypto difficult to understand. For example, when humans want to communicate with each other, our brains turn information into language. When computers communicate with each other, they turn information into numbers, and cryptography encodes this information so it cannot be read without a key. Cryptography helps keep users' information hidden, transactions anonymous and secure. Subscribe for more crypto fun facts. In March 2020, the Fed turned on its money printers to help tackle the COVID-19 crisis. Trillions of dollars were pumped into the system to stop it from collapsing. More money was printed in the space of a few short months than the entire history of America. And even though 55 million people had been made jobless and many businesses had gone bankrupt, it was the financial markets that were prioritized to receive this money. Indeed, only a month later, the stock market had its best performing week in 82 years, while average Joe was lining up outside food banks. The current financial system is broken, it's unfair, and it's geared up to keep the rich rich and the poor poor. Bitcoin is the best form of money ever invented. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins for the whole of humanity for the whole of time. Subscribe for more crypto fun facts. Let's talk about FOMO and greed. Both of these emotions can be detrimental in crypto. They are associated with taking irresponsible, irrational, impulsive, and sometimes absurd trading decisions. FOMO stands for fear of missing out. It's that fear, that anxiety one has that if action is not immediately taken, a good opportunity will be missed. Greed is another negative emotion in crypto. It can influence people to take larger positions or to buy crypto with money they cannot afford to lose. Greed can go uncontrolled in the parabolic phase of the bull run. People get sloppy, they relax their risk management strategies. This is why we sometimes see traders suffering their worst losses after their best performing year. Subscribe for more crypto fun facts. Bitcoin versus gold. Bitcoin and gold are considered valuable assets. Indeed, Bitcoin is often referred to as digital gold. Gold is a stable form of value. It appeals to the conservative investor, whereas Bitcoin is a highly volatile asset which has significantly outperformed gold as an investment. Both Bitcoin and gold are scarce. However, there are multiple untapped reserves of gold, both on Earth and in space, whereas Bitcoin has a hard cap of 21 million Bitcoins for the whole of humanity for all time. Gold is expensive and difficult to move, but Bitcoin is cheap and easy to move. In fact, Bitcoin can be moved anywhere in the world within a matter of minutes. Gold does have an established history of value. However, Bitcoin is the solution for the new digital age. Subscribe for more crypto fun facts. In crypto, either a narrative is pumping or it's dead. In October 2021, Facebook, one of the world's largest companies, announced it was going to change its name to Meta and focus on building the metaverse. Naturally, this caused hype in crypto metaverse projects, so much so that virtual plots of land was selling for millions of US dollars. Indeed, a virtual plot of land in the cryptocurrency project Sandbox sold for over 4.3 million US dollars, and in another project called Decentraland, a virtual plot of land sold for over 2.4 million US dollars. The hype for cryptocurrency metaverse projects was short-lived. User adoption was low, and today cryptocurrency metaverse projects are considered more long-term plays. Subscribe for more crypto fun facts. Let's talk about some cryptocurrency scams. Cryptocurrency scams are the same as other financial scams, except the scammers are after your crypto assets. Phishing scams. Phishing scams are designed to lure you into clicking links from which the scammer can access your cryptocurrency assets. These links can be sent to you. They can be posted in groups or on websites. Pump and dumps. A pump and dump is another classic scam tactic. This is where scammers inflate the price of a cryptocurrency project through hype and misleading information, only to sell their own bags at a profit, dumping the price on genuine investors. A rug pull. A rug pull is where the creators of a cryptocurrency project abruptly abandon it, taking all the invested funds with them, leaving investors high and dry. Subscribe for more crypto fun facts. So what is the Crypto Fear and Greed Index? Well, the Crypto Fear and Greed Index is a market analysis tool. It operates on a scale between 0 and 100. 0 represents extreme fear and 100 represents extreme greed. The indicator uses a variety of data sources such as market volatility, dominance, momentum, social media trends, and surveys to help identify sentiment. The Fear and Greed Index should never be used in isolation. Instead, it should be combined with other indicators to identify market trends. Crypto investors use the tools to help them identify entry and exit positions. A market in extreme fear is often undervalued, and a market in extreme greed is often overbought. Crypto traders use the index to evaluate the overall risk in the market. Subscribe for more crypto fun facts. Lewis, welcome back to the channel. How are you today?
Hey, doing good, doing good. You could hear me and everything?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Awesome. So just before we get into the live stream, let's just do a little shout out to my wonderful community. So we got Michael, we got Degen Brian, we got Crypto Coin Mindset, Rob C, MetaMask OX, One House Productions, Bullish on Parade, who else? Jesse, Andy S, Mark V, Biomax, and Jay Violet. Jay Violet's actually in Australia. She should be sleeping now, but she's not because she wanted to see the live stream. She's lovely, absolutely lovely. We got Gary, Mark C, Grandpa, Soul, Michael, Mark Dutch. Who else? So many comments. Andy S, Dogeball, Pennywise, Alexandra G, Harp. And if I've missed anyone out, I do apologize. So just before we get into the live stream, we've got to talk about Mentra. So yesterday I was in a live stream with another trader and we were just going through his charts, blah, blah, blah. And somebody in his community had written down, Mentra's gone down. And I was like, Mantra, surely not Mantra, the one in the top 100, the blockchain, but it actually did turn out to be Mentra. A lot of people have got hurt because it seemed like such a good project. It seemed, layer ones always do well, and RWA is a top performing narrative this bull run. What are your thoughts on Mantra?
I knew it was a scam for after I looked at it. Like I took one look and I was like, this is a scam, and I never invested. Like maybe it's because if you look at the charts every single day for like, or like almost every day for like years, you could just look at a chart and be like, this is not natural at all. This is 100% like it was just up and to the right. It was just up and to the right. There was no, it was the same chart like Bernie Madoff's scheme, you know, it was just like nonstop making money, making money, making money, never, you know, went down. And you could just a little bit of research would have shown you that 90% of the supply was owned by the team, like was owned by a few people. It's bundled supply. Like that means that they could have dumped it at any time. And what happened was right before the big dump, there was like a huge amount of the team's token were given to the exchange. It's like, that's what is expected when there's a huge supply like that is held by few people, you know. But like I think it's a big wake-up call, because people need to realize that like what crypto is, like what, like it's pretty much like this. You're going to buy and hold Bitcoin, and you will win. You will win in the long run if you do that, right? But if you try to get into alts, it's not 2017 anymore. It's not 2021 anymore. These are really like you have to do your research. Like you have to really like dig. Like you have to dig into the projects and look at the tokenomics and see these things, or else you're gonna be toast. You're gonna be exit liquidity, and or also just trade. But that's obviously a whole thing. And honestly, I don't think that most people should be trading. I do think that most people should, like, long-term investing is the way to go, you know, with it. But yeah, it was like, I don't know. I saw it and I was like, yeah, I was sort of just waiting until that was going to happen. The thing that's crazy is the thing that shocked me for like a long time, for like 6 months about it, was how well it was doing. Like it did just keep on going up and to the right and up and to the right and up and to the right. Like it never had a dip, like ever. Like like the years and years and years ago it did, but like recently it didn't. And so that shocked me, but that also gave more credence to the theory of like, oh, this is not natural. This is not something that I would want to really invest in, because actual projects don't do this. Actual projects have dips, like, you know, and it didn't. So yeah, my thoughts as someone like who has been in the market for 8 years, who has been seeing this type of stuff literally since the beginning. It's not shocking, but obviously to people who are new, it would be shocking. So I see why it would be shocking to people, especially considering the fact that it was you know, a top, if not the top RWA token in terms of market value. $6 billion in market cap is wild. Mm-hmm. So the fact that it was literally the top, if it wasn't the top, it was the top 3 in that sector, and it was such a sophisticated sector. But then you have to think about the fact that really, what was the best sector last year? Meme coins. Come on, you know, it was meme coins. And then think about like what was the best sector even in 2021? It was meme coins too. So really, when it comes to crypto, like I think you have to make the shift from like what people who get excited, who have really good intentions, who love new and up and coming technology and all this stuff that's happening, which is like how I felt in the beginning, which was like, oh my God, this is the coolest technology like ever. Like this is going to revolutionize the world. It's crazy. I'm so excited about all this. And you read up on all these different projects, and it's like, this looks so cool and this looks so cool. It's like, I feel like you got to shift from that to like, this is a very highly speculative asset. 99% of it is a scam, and you have to do your due diligence, like really do your due diligence, and make sure that you're not putting in, more money than you could afford to lose, like the number one rule in crypto, like never put in more money than you could afford to lose, right? So, and also take profits along the way and just follow good risk management. Like that, I think that is a huge, huge thing that just happened for anyone to understand is follow risk management, have a risk management protocol, have a system in place so that one thing can't take you out. Because one thing, unless you're all in Bitcoin, that's the only thing where I say, okay, go all in and you're good with that. But anything else outside of Bitcoin, I would not recommend going all in and absolutely, having risk management in play. But there's two other things. One other thing that I want to say about it, which is that you see people on crypto on Twitter, right? You see people on crypto Twitter, and they're saying like, "Oh, I lost all this money. I lost all this money." I was seeing those. I don't know if you saw any posts like this. Turns out that like even the biggest posts where they're saying, "Oh, I lost." One was said, "I lost $3.5 million. Please help me with this." And another one was, "Oh, I lost $20,000. My last amount of money." They're all fake. They're all fake. They didn't lose any money because if you look underneath of those posts, they have, "Oh, you should actually invest into this." And then if you do your research into the thing that they're trying to tell you to invest in instead, because it's supposedly better, not a scam, is their token. So we have people that are like, trying to mooch off of this event to scam more people into buying their token, which they're just going to rug pull eventually too. So it is so important to be so diligent in your research. Do your own research. DYOR, that's the name of the game. And be super, super careful. Like go into everything in crypto with like, it pays to be paranoid, basically.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Just quickly, a shout out to Givers Gain, Poman and Army Piper who have joined.
So, what up, Army Piper? I started looking at his stuff after the last stream, and man,
he's really good.
He's a smart guy. He's a smart guy. I'm gonna be following his TA for sure.
And you're a smart guy as well, because you did call the 2021 top. You got a lot of hate for it, and also you called the lunar crash, which is amazing. And for anyone who doesn't know, I've actually covered Lewis's story on the channel, so do go and check that out. He has a fantastic story. So just as we get in today, we'll talk about the American economy, the 4-year cycle, and how you're positioning yourself, because it's not your first bull run, and you've been here before, how you're positioning yourself for 2025. Now, we always have to talk about the American economy because it is the largest economy in the world. To grasp how large it is, the American economy is larger than all the BRICS economies put together. We've got a Fed meeting coming up, so we kind of understand. We had the live stream with Piper last week. We kind of understand what's going on in America. It's not looking too great. We've got a Fed meeting coming up. Now, if they hold rates instead of cutting, do you think that increases the risk of a recession or some kind of deflationary risk?
I think that what people could do when it comes to things like the rate cuts is check out the site that people, they bet on these things. Do you know that site? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like, it has pretty much everything that people bet on, and it ends up being super, super accurate. I forgot the name of it. What was the name of that?
Yeah, I forgot the name of it as well, but I know exactly.
Drop it in the comments what the name of that site is, where you can literally bet on anything, and you can bet on
Polymarket or something similar to that.
Polymarket, yeah. And so I think going on there and seeing what that says is usually a good bet, but I don't think that it's gonna increase or decrease the the chances of a recession happening if there's no rate cut. I think that I think that honestly, I think that whatever's going to happen is sort of already it's already in play. Like in my mind, we're going to have this dead cat bounce that we're having right now. And then I think we're going to get rejected at somewhere between 93 and 96,000 and then fall back down. And it's going to be very, very bearish, continue to be very, very bearish. Oh, that's cool, for a long time. And well, not really a long time, because what is a long time? It's all relative. But at least until the end of the year is when we'll get like some actual, like, more clarity and more bullish macroeconomic and political and everything type of actual data coming in, like the rate cuts that we need, like perhaps quantitative easing, like a lot of things have to happen. Like, first, I keep on saying like, a lot of things have to happen before things could turn around and we could go back into up only mode. I mean, Trump is he's completely changing the entire system. He's trying to do a complete rehaul. So that's going to take some time, and there's going to be some like major volatility, and people hate uncertainty. The markets hate uncertainty. And that's why we see these huge sell-offs, especially during the tariffs, flip-flopping up, down, all left and right, all over the place. Like, because people don't know what is going to happen next. So they're scared. So they just flee into safer assets and they flee into cash, right? And it's going to take a little while until people get comfortable. But the key is to try to get in before people get comfortable. It's the key is to think about when that will happen and then to get in a little bit beforehand. Typically, when there's a huge crash, that's obviously the best time to get in, when there's a big enough crash that it makes sense. And waiting until things do get comfortable, though, you'll lose out. You'll just lose out on so much profit. What I've known and what I've learned over the years is that it is so much better, especially in crypto, where things when they turn around, they turn around and they start moving, right? Is to start buying in when things are down and when things are heading down really, really quickly and there's big crashes. Like, that's when you want to buy. And even if it goes down another 20% or 30% from there, typically you're going to do better than simply waiting until everything is good, because unless you like really know what you're doing, because sometimes you might get an 80% spike in one day, on the day that it turns around. And unless you're like, looking at the charts every single day and really into it, like, on a daily basis, it's difficult to catch that move. But you could also there are some things some clues that you could look at, like
just saying that, the other day I interviewed Jason Casper. Do you know Jason Casper, the trader on YouTube?
Yeah, I know Jason Casper. Yeah, I remember when he was starting out. Actually, I remember I think I was in a group with him for like a minute. I was in a group with a lot of people. I don't know. I was like, yeah, basically everyone. When we were first starting out, because it was so small in like 2018,
So I did his crypto story last week. I'm actually dropping it tomorrow.
Cool.
So you can find out all about the plunger and the Pikachu hat. And, he has a real rags to riches story. Like, I like to call them the Cinderella story. And one thing that he said was, buy when it's difficult and sell when it's difficult, which makes a lot of sense, because that's how you should really play the market and the psychology of the market. So that's America. Trump's, we'll talk about the tariffs in a minute, but I know are you currently in Thailand?
Yeah.
Yeah, currently in Thailand. So how would you describe the current state of the global economics?
I feel like people like every country is playing tag with
Yeah,
each
that's so true.
like you get the tariffs, no, you get the tariff, no, reciprocal tariffs, here, you know. Man, it's all the thing that's I've learned, and that I've actually, like, especially over the last couple months, just even more into my brain. It was already there, but it's even more into my brain, is to not even pay too much attention, or like to pay attention to know enough but not too much when it comes to big global macroeconomic things. You don't need to get into the weeds and the details, unless maybe you have some type of strategy that helps you like figure things out and put on trades and actually make money. But ultimately we're in the markets to make money, right? Like, this is a game of making money. That's what it's about. And what I have seen time and time again is that the charts will tell you exactly everything that you need to know. Like, they will literally they'll tell you everything. And you don't need to know about any news. You don't need to know about any of that stuff, because if you could just see it, if you could just look at the chart and then see, you could see, because with the charts, you could see the buying pressure and you could see the selling pressure. Every single candle tells a story. Every candle is literally people buying and people selling. So if you can see, oh, the market was going down and it was going down and it was going down, and then all of a sudden it tried to go down, but then all of these buyers stepped in and pushed the price back up. And so it has a huge wick underneath of it. And then more buyers came in, and then the trend changed, and now it's actually an uptrend, or it's sideways after it was in a big downtrend. Just from that alone, something is happening where people with a lot of money, they are thinking that either the end is over, or I like the bear market is over, or the downtrend is over, or something really big is going to happen in just a short while, so they want to get positioned. In fact, even with the whole Trump, what was that Trump meme? The Trump thing that he posted. They said, "Now's a great buying opportunity," last week,
Mhm.
right, a couple of days ago. And then what happened? The market shot up.
Yeah.
You could see on the charts a little, like, what happened was the news came out, it was leaked. Then the White House came out and said, no, that's not, a thing, that's not happening. So when it was leaked, the price went up, and then he said, no, the price went down again. And then all of a sudden you see like huge volumes and huge, like the price like moving up a little bit, but like the volumes like going crazy. Like, and then he tweeted out, and then it shot up. So it was like something was happening there, and it doesn't, you have to put two and two together. But yeah, because if you listened to the news, you would listen to and say, oh, the White House said that, that's fake. It's Fuguzi. It's not, we're not actually saying that we're gonna cut the tariffs, bring the tariffs to zero, or whatever he ended up doing, right? But like, it was there, it was in the charts. So it's good to pay attention, but like, cross-reference it with the charts and learn how to do that. That's my opinion, just from someone who's like been in the markets and seen it for such a long time. Or understand things. There are a few big macroeconomic stuff
Mhm.
that I do look at, though, like the ETF inflows. If you pay attention to it, in fact, I brought it up. I don't know if you have like, I think, were we going to get into that more, or
Yeah,
should I just bring?
we'll go through. You know what? Let's do it now. Let's go through all of your charts now. 1 second. Have you
Well,
got your?
it
Have you
was
got your?
really just this ETF stuff.
Oh yes, the
Like,
ETFs. Did you want to share your screen, by the way?
sure. Let me see if I could share. Screen sharing is doing this way. Oh, they're just giving me a tip on how to do it, and I could click this and I could click share. Okay, so hopefully you will be able to see the Bitcoin ETF overview.
It's loading. So just as that's loading, I'll go into the question. Now, I know you follow institutional investors. Now, we had the all-time high before the halving. How are ETFs and institutional investors shaping this bull run? And do you think that they've reduced or increased volatility in the market? And as soon as that loads, I'll put it up.
Oh, well, thank you, Andy, for answering part of the question. 9 companies have filed for XRP ETFs products in the US. But yeah, so there's a lot there. Something that I actually learned recently, which I'm surprised that I didn't like see this the day of, I thought it was going to be a lot bigger news, is that there are now Solana ETFs. There are 2 Solana ETFs on NASDAQ right now. They're futures Solana ETFs. They're not spot. They're not spot. But Bitcoin came out with the futures ETF first, and then Ethereum came out with the futures ETF. So now we have a Solana ETF. So I think that the next ETF that's going to come out is Solana. That's what makes sense from just what I've continued to see, right? And what happens. And as far as the ETFs and the institutional investors, yes, of course, they have impacted this market a crazy amount. Of course, we had the very first time in Bitcoin's history where the price was over the all-time high before the halving, or it was over. Was it actually over the all-time high before the halving? Let me just double check this, because I know it was high. It was way, way, way higher than where it yeah, here's the halving, and I'm just checking it on my chart. And in 2020, yep. Okay, yeah. So we had the 4th Bitcoin halving. Before the 4th Bitcoin halving, the price ended up reaching a new all-time high. That's never happened before. And that only reason that happened is because of institutional investors loading the truck into Bitcoin, because they knew that BlackRock was going to be approved, right? And we had all the Bitcoin ETFs. So yeah, I was just checking the charts, DGen. But that could have potentially just caused a total shift in the market cycle. Like that could have been a reason why we saw the top, like just a few, in December, right? There was a lot of reasons, but I have to think about this, because it's difficult to like, I can't talk in certainties. And then also, yes, it's like, I think the cycle is sort of over, but also I actually don't think that the cycle's over, and I think that Bitcoin's going to reach a new all-time high by the end of the year. So it's like there's a lot of conflicting stuff.
Yeah, but have the ETFs increased volatility? Has it stayed about the same, or have they decreased in volatility, having so much institutional investors coming into the market?
Well, here is the flow, the inflow, and you could see that it was green. It was like super, super green for pretty much the entire existence, all the way up until December of 2024. It was December 19th. That's when we had the huge outflow of $671 million worth of Bitcoin, right? So there was quite a large number of outflows mid-December, and more than at any other time, in history. This is the largest outflow. And then comes January, and we continue, or we have another huge outflow. And then we just continue to have more outflows in February. And then eventually in February 25th, we had $1 billion worth of outflows in one day, which is wild to think that $1 billion in one day of outflows. And there's been $1 billion of outflows over the past in March. And so this is data that I do think is important and that I do think can give you an edge. We're always looking for an edge in the markets, right? So I have this data every single day. I have it pinged to me and it tells me what the inflows were or outflows were. And then it gives me the 10-day average. And then it tells me I like customized a bot to tell me that if there's a change of greater than 10%, either inflows or outflows, that I get pinged and notified. Because if the average is, say, let's see what the actual average is, so I could get some numbers that actually make sense. So let's say that the average inflow or outflow is minus 80 million, for the 10 days. And then all of a sudden it goes to like minus 10 million as the average, because the last day, that means that the last day was so big. It had such a big number that it raised the average inflow outflow from negative 80 million to negative 10 million. And so that I have a trigger for that to be alerted. And that's definitely going to be like, okay, if they're getting in, then something big is happening. And they think they're smart money, right? That's the smart money. So if they think that, if they're confident enough to get in, you want to get in. And there might have been the volatility in terms of have institutions increase the volatility. Some say yes, but I would argue no, because I would argue that as more institutions get into this space, there's more algorithmic trading and the volatility decreases, and then it becomes harder to map out an edge. And eventually it's going to be just 99% algos trading against each other with AI, and the price is going to become like a lot more stable than what it was. I mean, we're down 30% or so from the highs, 25, maybe 20, 25% now after the rebound. But last cycle, we had a 50% drop in the summer around this time.
We did, yeah, we did.
Yeah, I think there's less volatility with the institutions, and it will continue to be less volatile.
Okay, I'll just quickly give a shout out to C90, Brown Conservative Capitalist 1, Joe from Trade Intuition, JR, and Wayne C. Before I get to my next question, which is, again, it's on the ETFs, do you have with you the charts that you predict or you look at regarding the all-time high?
Yeah, I have something I could share.
Yeah. So I'll just let's just quickly do this question. It's not too long. While you're finding that, so is the crypto market more or less manipulated, or about the same with the ETFs and the institutional investors? So it's kind of decreased. So what you're saying, it's kind of decreased the volatility, but is it more manipulated now because it's smart money?
So it's more, okay, so I think that it decreased the volatility of Bitcoin. I think a lot of altcoins it decreased the volatility for altcoins too, because prior cycles, they, go up and down 10,000%, and now they're going up like maybe a few 100%, right? So yeah, it's decreasing that too. And for market manipulation, that's a tough one, because there's always been so much market manipulation, like so much. It's crazy how much the crypto market is manipulated. And there's really nothing that anyone can do about it. I think it highly, highly decreased the market manipulation that happens with Bitcoin. I think that that's getting decrease and decrease and decrease. But I think that there's more manipulation in terms of just the fact that we have so many more scam projects now, because of the fact that anyone can build a token. It takes 2 seconds, right? And so there's more manipulation on that front. But in terms of in terms of like smart money manipulating the price to buy more at the low, you know, like what people typically think, that's always been there. It's always been here. It's not going away, and like that hasn't changed. It hasn't gone up or down necessarily. Like, I mean, there's an entire trading concept out there called smart money concepts, right? Like, so that's, and which actually has helped me, that was one thing that helped me understand the markets a lot, was like, oh, this has been happening for a really, really long time. And you've been able to use those concepts to, you know, you could have used those concepts to make money in the markets, whether it's stocks or Forex or crypto for a long time. And that's not changing. And so the manipulation is, I think that the institutions are helping create less manipulation in the markets, but it's only, you know, for Bitcoin so far. But I think that because of mostly Trump basically just saying, have at it, you know, I'm going to create my own token, which create, you know, scam everyone. So that opened up the doors for everyone to, you know, do it, to think, oh, he's doing it, then it's okay. I'm not going to get in trouble. So then everyone does it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's manipulative.
So do you have those charts? Because I actually quite like them. You know, when you go through all the charts and you see where the top is.
Yeah, let me see. I had to stop sharing my old screen and then put this new one on. Is it loading up?
It has loaded.
Oh, that's cool. Awesome. Yeah, this one, I really like this chart. This is the typical 4-year cycle Bitcoin halving chart. And you could tell that, well, everything is, you know, panned out pretty exact. This is when the BlackRock approved their ETF, and then it shot up. So you can see we did have, that was the reason why we had that surge before the halving. And let me get rid of this. I'll bring that over there and bring that over there. And so according to this 4-year cycle Bitcoin halving chart, I'll actually bring this down here. The next cycle top should be right here, right around September of this year, right? And we're still sort of we're pretty far away from that still. I mean, we got May, June, July, August, and then, you know, September. So 5 months, and it's the 14th. So really 5.5 months. A lot could happen in crypto in 5.5 months. And we could easily like do something where we turn around, you know, let's say we go up here, we get rejected, we come down here, and then the last, you know, 2 months we like shoot up once, and then we shoot up twice, and then we end up up here at, you know, like 117, 120 basically, and then that reaches this, you know, create this top again. That's shown to be the top, and it also coincides with this halving cycle. And I think that's very, very, very plausible. And
I do also, because do you remember when we hit the 100K mark? The sell wall was absolutely incredible. It was really, really difficult to get past that. Just imagine what the sell wall will be at 150.
Yeah, at these big psychological numbers are huge.
Yes, exactly. So I know people are calling for 200,000 and more than that. But along the way, it's going to be very, very difficult. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, I think 200,000 is, I think 1 million, I think 10 million is going to happen eventually.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Eventually it's going to happen, right? But this cycle, I don't know. There's a lot of theories out there. Some of them are even saying that we're going to have this massive blow off top for everything. It's like the everything bubble, and like everything's just going to crash, and we're all going to, you know, go down to zero and have to live in like huts or something. But I think that, like, I like to just look at the charts and play level to level and like think of things, be more risk on when the environment is more risk on, be more risk off when the environment is more risk off. Right? Like right now, I do think that we are more likely to, like in the micro, move up. I think most coins are going to continue moving up for at least a short period of time. And on at least until Bitcoin reaches maybe 93,000, 93,500. But I'm still very, very weary, very, very like cognizant of the fact that we are technically in a bear market. Number one, we are still in a risk-off environment. We're not getting like these huge rate cuts that everyone wants. We're not getting quantitative easing. We're not having massive amounts of liquidity enter the market. Like the ETFs are continuing to have outflows. The inflows are not, when we do get inflows, they're not that good. Like there's so many things are pending, and I don't think we're even close to getting to a solution to that, you know? So I think it's very risk off right now. And I think that probably by the end of the year we'll get to that point of becoming more risk on and having more clarity, which is what the markets love. And also potentially, I don't know if we're going to get it this year, but I think next year, probably quantitative easing. Again, just the money printer go back on. I know that's not really the goal of the administration. I mean, the goal of Doge is to literally get the whole budget under control and to make sure that the, inflation doesn't take over. So there's a lot of, I don't know, a lot of headwinds that we're up against in terms of turning this macro environment into some super bullish thing like it was in 2021 and like it was, heck, even leading up to the election, and at the election. But that's the key, because we have to think of narratives, right? It's like, what's the next narrative?
Okay. So what has surprised you the most about this cycle?
Definitely the meme coins being the only thing that did exceptionally well. That's, yeah, just meme coins being the literally the only thing. Like even AI did okay, but I was on top of AI, like, unless you got in 2022, at the lows, like, and you got into a few of them, it still didn't do even close to as well as meme coins were. Like, if you look at the charts and you compare all of the different things, like meme coins versus AI versus RWA versus layer ones versus layer twos versus all these things, right? It's like literally like this is like all of them. And then you just see meme coins like that. Like, there's so much. So I wasn't really expecting that. I thank God I like pivoted in like early last year, like more towards meme coins when I saw like the direction that it was going, because I was a huge like, this stuff is gonna be like really good. Like, we need to go into fundamental plays and
Utility.
utility. That was my thing. Like, I was super stoked. I mean, I still am like praying that it's going to work out. And that eventually it's going to happen. Eventually the utility will come and actually be a part of everyday life for everyone. I mean, you don't have Larry Fink and BlackRock saying that, blockchain is going to be a part of, every single market. We're going to tokenize the world, like he said, tokenize every single asset. You don't have him saying that and it not happen. Like, BlackRock literally controls the world, right? So it's going to happen. It's just, I think it's just taking a lot longer than people expected. Especially, you also see these other areas like AI, like, just have these exponential moves of growth and all of this funding and everything, like, in the real world, right? And you don't really see that happening like with crypto, like, just, but it also when it comes to like what crypto is doing, like, it is sort of revamping an entire system. It's like revamping the entire stock market, revamping the entire real estate industry with RWAs and tokenizing everything. So that's going to take a while.
Okay, so exactly. So with memes, memes have really taught me the power of community. So some of the biggest companies in the world, they're just about community, like Facebook and X and all the rest of it. And memes have really shown the power of community. And I've actually done a lot of studying on memes and the meme movement. It's actually quite interesting once you get into it, but it's very, very risky. Most memes are pump and dumps, but if a meme succeeds, it can reach the market cap of airline companies. Just very quickly, a shout out to Julia, CV Trading, Red Bull Vodka, David Bowles, Jupiter, Nevada, they've all entered. So on top of that, can I ask, when's alt season? Because I haven't got a clue now. I've waited like such a long time. We had a run in last year. We had the best run last year, Q1, and then we had a run after the election, and that was literally just about it. Oh, what's happening to alt season?
But let's be real here. The what happened after the election was not an alt season. That was like alt season is like, man, your portfolio is going up by 50% every single day, you know, for like a week straight or 2 weeks or 3. Like it's crazy. Alt season, man, those were the days.
Those were the days, yeah. I did an interview with Drew from Blockchain Basement. I don't know if you know Drew.
No.
Really, really great chat. And one thing that he said was, take profits when you want to show off your portfolio. So, you know, like when you were saying, oh, those were the days, that's the time that you should take profits, because he timed it really, really well. He really, really did. Anything else that you can mention on alt season, or are you basically in the same boat? Where is retail? Where is alt season?
So alt season, as people like think about it, like I don't think it's ever going to happen. I think it's done.
Okay.
I think we're never going to have an alt season again, like ever in the history of crypto, forever. Like how we had in 2021 and 2017, we had 1,700 cryptos in 2021. 1,700. There was about like 600 in 2017. You know how many there are now? There's over 4 million. And there's over 500,000 cryptos every day are being created. So you're not gonna like, and it doesn't like, there's not enough liquidity in the world to have an alt season where everything goes up. There's not even enough liquidity in the world to have like the top 10,000 go up, you know, in unison, just like crazy, like how it happened before. I think that we will get another alt season like how we got in March in Q1 2024. That might happen, where things go up, where like everything goes up a few 100%. And like some coins might go up like 800, 900%. And then you might get like these outliers that go up 20,000%, you know, like crazy ones if you get in early enough. But like where the whole entire market rises, like happened in 2021, 2017, no, like where everything goes up 500 to like 10,000%. No, we're gonna have like, you have to be on the ball. You have to have a really good thesis. You have to have a really good understanding of where to put your money, and you have to get lucky. And like that has to happen, because I mean, crap, look at what happened. Even in 2021, we had an alt season. What happened with like layer ones, or what happened with like layer twos, or what happened with like, I don't know, any other narratives other than meme coins, you know, and some AI coins, right? Like, yeah, they went up, but like everything else didn't, right? Everything else went up at most a couple 100%. Like, and then of course you have some outliers that go up, you know, 800, 900%. But like, you have to change to like figuring out how, like, things to get in super early. Like you have to get in crazy early in order to make the type of gains that people consider like life-changing gains. You know, if you want to get like a 30x or 50x or something, or you have to have a really good narrative, a really good thesis behind something. Like there is and you know what? There are a few coins even right now that have potential, that have a lot of potential to move up. I mean, do you know who Crash is? Have you ever heard of Crash? He's really big on the base chain and Brett.
Okay.
He made like $11 million off of Brett. Like, or it was at the high. I don't know what it is now. But he made a really good point, which is that you had Dogecoin, right? Number one all-time best gainer was Doge, and that's like basically like the Dogecoin on Doge chain or whatever. Then you have Pepe, this like basically the second best coin of all time, and Shiba Inu, the third best coin of all time, like during the run-ups, which are on Ethereum, right? And then you have these other, you had a few other tokens that were on other chains, and each of those tokens ended up with on and Bonk on Solana. They were the best. They were the biggest gainers on Solana. So each of these coins, if you look at it, they take up like 5% or more of the market cap of the overlying of Ethereum or Solana, you know. And so base chain is supposed to be the biggest chain that will overtake everything because it's Coinbase, which is the US regulatory it's the chain that is basically regulated by BlackRock, because BlackRock is a big shareholder in Coinbase and Coinbase works with BlackRock, right? So Base is probably going to be the number one chain, and that's still being slept on because so many people are on Solana, right? And so if you could figure out stuff that's on base chain, I think you have a really good shot at making those huge gains that people really want. There's also another chain called Abstract, which is coming out or it's sort of out, and that's supposed to be really, really big. I have mixed feelings on it, but what's the number one meme on Abstract? You could have got that. It's called Appster, and then there's a few of them on there. But if you were putting like these things together in your brain and you were actively searching for them, you could have bought Appster on the open market a few weeks ago, really, maybe even a month or two ago, and you'd be up 100%. It's up like drastically. And I got lucky and saw something on base chain that did a 14x last month. I mean, like, I'm saying, like, yes, I did. I got lucky, but also I was like I'm actively searching every single day, right? And like, thank God, because everyone needs a boost to their portfolio, right? In these times. So like, I got lucky, but like also there's a component to that, you know? So you can make, even though I say there's not going to be another alt season, what I am saying is that if you're like in it, you could find plays and like make crazy amounts of money. The opportunities, they're still there, and they've been there. And even over the last couple of months, while everything's down, there's been plays that could have been made, you know, such as like on the Abstract chain. Abstract has been crushing it, but people don't know about it because it takes like, it's a few layers deep, you know. It's not just like, oh, XRP or like Cardano. Like, you know, it's like you have to do a lot to like get into it. But yeah, I'd be looking on those little chains for alts for the big gains.
So just before we wind up, Lewis, how are you positioning yourself for 2025?
Okay, so man, I sold like 95% of what I have, and I have my trading account, and then I have my like degen account or like my lesser account. So I have like 80% in my trading account right now, and then I have 20% in my in my wallet space for dexes for these like smaller plays. And I'm actually sort of expecting to make more on the smaller plays with that 20%, because you could hit one and it does like a 14x or it does a 20x or 30x or something like that. While with trading, you don't really get that in trading. You have to stack up the wins over time, and they're much smaller. But my strategy is literally like play level to level, stay on top of the charts. And as I mentioned in my tweet not too long ago, last month, I basically cut everything out of my life, and I just focused so hard on the charts. I focused so much on trading. I documented every single trade. I haven't done this before. Like, honestly, I've been a trader for 7 years, and I've never done this. I've documented every single reason why I got into every single trade. I tagged every single thing in like a professional, journal. I wrote out basically all of the information about everything. And it was one of my best trading months last month during while everything was crashing, right? It was crazy. So I think if you just put your head down, if you put your mind to it, if you want to do trading like how I was doing it, or if you want to go into the trenches, you could learn how to trade in the trenches and make money there, to learn how to research and to figure out plays like the abstract stuff or like the base chain and what's going on there. There's so much opportunity, but it does require work. And you have to understand that like a lot of the stuff that you get into is going to be super risky. So you have to also, have a very clear plan of risk management and how you're going to divvy up your funds so that one play or two plays, or even honestly, even 5 plays, if they just all go to zero, you won't get, knocked out of the park. Because the most important thing is keeping some capital. It's like having capital, because if you could survive for long enough, eventually bull markets do come and you do end up making money, and it becomes easy again. But it's usually just easy for a very short period of time. So you just got to survive.
Yeah, that's brilliant, Lewis. Thank you so much for coming back onto the channel and giving us your view on the current market situation. It's not looking great, but like you said, there could be some hope. So just very quickly, tomorrow we've got the Jason Casper story dropping on the channel, 12 o'clock UK time. There is a premiere already set up, so you can you can press the notification bell on that. We do have a live chat in the Discord. So if you are available, do go over to the Discord, and I'll be there, and you can speak to me or ask any questions. Thank you so much, Lewis, and hopefully we'll do this again sometime.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. All right.